Well, it is finally the weekend, and we've got some nice weather after such a rainy day on Thursday. And even before that, Wednesday and Thursday were not great days being outside. Saturday's going to be a great one. Highs in the 70s, sunshine. We've got some rain for Sunday, but most of it's going to be in the morning. I'll show you the latest future track in just a second. Over the next 24 hours, though, we'll be in the mid-50s tonight, mostly clear for the upstate, low 50s in the mountains. And then looking ahead, we're going to have mostly sunny skies Saturday. Sunday brings that chance of rain, and then sun returns on Monday. So let's go hour by hour on that rain for Sunday. We've talked about it. It's going to be early in the day. I just want to show you what I'm talking about because it's actually going to arrive during part of Saturday. About 11 p.m. we'll see some of this moisture moving in around the Saturday night time frame. So if you're out late, you may run into a little bit of this. This is the round one that will push north and end up bringing some heavier downpours into the mountains. Then we've got a second round. This is going to come in around the early morning, Sunday morning, 7 a.m. So if you're heading out early, you could get stuck in some of that. And we'll be done for the most part by about 11 a.m. to noon. But we'll see some storms firing just east of us. We'll have to watch for some of our counties like Cherokee County, Gaffney, Union, over toward Newberry for a few stronger storms to bubble up quickly into the middle part of the day. But most of that's expected to be to our east, and we'll be looking at mostly clear skies with just a stray shower in the mountains toward Sunday evening. So a look ahead, we've got a 60% chance of some morning showers and thunderstorms on Sunday, but the afternoon looks clear. So this does not look like a high impact event for us. By Monday and Tuesday, we've got mostly sunny skies, cooler than normal for this time of year, and overnight lows still chilly, still needing to send the kids with a jacket to the bus stop next week. And then we'll have a chance of rain by Friday. In the mountains, looking ahead to scattered showers Sunday, mostly in the morning, and then some cool weather into next week. Might even get a little bit of frost on Sunday and Monday night skies.